So let's install this new oil temperature sensor. It is a 2-wire sensor, so yeah, and when I saw this black and white cable, reminded me that I have some black and white cable, which will be perfect for this. And I'm going to pull this cable through a rubber that's in the firewall in the car. So I taped it to a very thin TIG wire, which I'm going to use to pull this through this, because the rubber is quite tight and there's already extra wires running too. So this should make life a little bit easier to run this wire to the firewall. Alright. Okay, now let's connect the gauge and see if it all works. Just a quick temporary setup to make sure that we can test the sensor and the gauge before completely wiring it in. I always like to do this to make sure everything works before I spend a lot of time on something that doesn't work. So everything's wired in now. Let's turn on the ignition and see what happens. Probably background. Yeah. Okay. It's doing the swipe, which is nice. Temperature's 0. Okay, let's go outside the car and turn on the kettle. Well, it looks like the kettle is doing its work. Temperature is rising. Hopefully it stops at 100 and not like 130 or whatever. That would mean that's something really wrong with the sensor. Okay, the water's almost boiling. Well, it is boiling. Let's see what the gauge says. Exciting. It should say 100 and it says 100. So a little bit more, obviously, because it's nature, science things. Okay, that looks good. Let's finalize the install and have it somewhere in the dash. I'll probably just put it in one of these gauge holders, since it's a 52mm holder and the gauge is 52, so it's a quick solution. I bought one of these cups that you can like put on your dash somewhere. But I'm probably going to install a what's it called, standalone ECU one time someday, hopefully this winter. And then I'll just have like a digital dash in the middle with all the sensors. I shouldn't put too much effort in installing these sensors nicely with gauges and sensors. Well, the sensors, anyway, yeah. Okay, let's continue. So let's fill the oil filter with some oil first. So the distribution of oil will be a little bit quicker when I crank over the car first. After filling it with oil. I chose to go with Castrol Magnatec 5W40, since 5W40 is the advice they give for this engine, and day is just like the internet. And the reason I went with Castrol Magnatec is just because this was the, well, not the cheapest, but like a affordable oil from a good brand with some reputation, which is good. And well, it's a normal engine. It's not something special, so no need for fancy oils. Just throw in decently priced oil. So underneath the car, I wired up the sensor, put everything in place, put the plug in with some Teflon tape. I know it's being discussed a lot of you should use Teflon tape, but I rather do. Replace these plugs, which were, I don't like them, so I replaced these plugs with like a permanent connection. So yeah, I have to like tie down the wire in some places and tidy up in the driver's compartment, just to make sure that everything's nice and tidy. And yeah, let's fill it up with oil. So yeah, I can't find a funnel anywhere, so I have to just make do and hopefully pour this in without spilling too much. Yeah, that. Fuck! Yeah, I'll clean the spill later. Or maybe just put this. I should have gotten a towel before doing this. Now it's all greasy. Oh! Should use every drop, because this stuff is expensive as hell. As oil, I would want to say, but yeah, you get my point. Dual lock molecules lock together to form a force field of protection, dramatically reducing engine wear by 50%. Bullshit, I'll just do this. Yeah. Let's check the oil level. Will probably be 0 because it's. It needs a little bit more oil. Oh yeah, and I did this to make clean up a little bit easier, because I'm going to spill again, since I do not learn from my mistakes. Whoa! That was like no spillage at all. Wow. Okay. Now we're about in like 6 liter. Should be getting a reading on the dipstick around now. And I do, I think. Not sure if the dipstick gets covered in oil while it drains down from the top of the engine to the bottom, but let's see. So after starting the car, it pumped a lot of oil, not all the oil, but a lot of oil into the oil cooler. So as expected, the level was low now, so I have to fill a little bit more in, just to compensate the oil that went into the oil cooler. And I did this already off camera, so it's just a little tiny bit now, but it's about, I think, maybe 1 or 1.5 liter that I put in extra. So let's check. Clean. And check again. I think the level will be a little bit high because when the engine is off, the oil will return into the sump pan. It's hard to see, but it's just over, almost at max, so that's good. And I'll test the oil level multiple times when we go for the test drive later. Or after test drive, I don't know, depends. So yeah, let's do some other minor stuff, like tidying up the wiring and everything, and then take the car off jack stands and go for a drive. One of the things I wanted to do since I went to the track last time and I had to drive home in the dark is to remove the film that I put on the headlights and blinkers. It looks good, but can't see shit. And the headlights of a Volvo 240 are not known for the proper light output, so making it even less is not a good idea. So the car is off the jack stands. Didn't film that because it's like super boring. Tidied up everything, made the interior better, and I also removed the small light that indicates that there is an issue with the battery, since that lights up since I took away half of the gauge cluster. That probably triggers this light. So I took the light out and installed a volt meter, which you can see like this. It's at 11.1 now. That's quite coincidental. Exactly 111. Let's see what happens. $10 volts. Okay. Okay, so I've been driving for a while. Everything seems to be fine. The voltage was quite low when I just started the car, and as soon as I started driving it turned up to 13, and it's quite steady at 13. Should be a little bit higher, but maybe since I like piggyback from the RPM gauge, it's a little bit like, I don't know. Oh no, it's 12 point. Anyway, it's fine. And if something's wrong with the alternator, then I can see the voltage drop, so that's good. So I don't need the very inaccurate battery indicator on the dashboard anymore. The oil temperature is nice. It is at 100 degrees now. The pressure is low because I'm standing still and it's idling. And this gauge is a 10 bar gauge, which is way too low. Oh, car's moving. I taped up the oil cooler, and it's melting the tape a little bit, seems like. Well, it comes off quite easy, so that's good. But if I need some more cooling, I'll just remove one strip of tape, and if I need more, then a second strip, third strip. It is quite hot, so the oil cooler is actually working. Oil is flowing fine. That's great. Yeah, looks all good, no leakages. So I think we're ready for the track. Yoy, our car's going away. No, don't run away. No, 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 no. So with this workshop I also got a pet fox, which is limping, but he's doing that. He's been doing that for weeks, and he's not scared at all, for nothing. So every time I'm outside here in the garden or whatever, and he comes to look what I'm doing, which is nice. He doesn't go in the workshop though, but it's he's in the garden. So So Mr. Fox is now inspecting the tools that I'm going to bring to the track tonight. He didn't say anything, so I guess it's approved. Is it approved, Mr. Fox? Yes? Yeah, no idea if you can hear me. I can't hear myself at least, with the hearing protection and all the noise in the car, but I figured just to film an update while driving towards Eskilstuna. I'm heading out to GTR Motorpark, or Gröndal as it was called. And yeah, looking forward, second track day there. Made some improvements to the car as you've seen. Oil cooler mainly, and better gauge for the temperature. And I have a suit now, which looks very professional, but I'm still no idea what I'm doing. But yeah. Brakes are completely gone now. I was like, I can just press the pedal all the way to the floor, so
That's why you let up.
yeah. I had no idea. It just started fading a little bit and then all of a sudden all gone, so let's drive home with the handbrake. so we're just about to leave the track. Still in Eskilstuna. It's really dark, and I'm in the headlights of my car now, and yeah, heading home. The brakes failed in the second to last run, but they got back when I let them cool down. It's not the brake pads, it was the brake fluid that like boiled and became too hot. So after cooling down, it started working again, and I did another few laps just to test and to make sure that everything's fine. Yeah, heading home now. I'm super tired, so I have a 45-minute trip left back to home, and yeah, update you later in the video. No, I will see you guys later. No, I will do things with YouTube, whatever. Bye bye.